In Fluorite version 10, we have made some few enhancements to our engines. We have completely re-engineered and re-architected our engines for performance and scalability. But also we built some smarts into it, and also we've given access to these engines from our UI and from API level. So as you can see, these are the engines that today Fluorite 10 is powered on. So we have 7 different engines, and so you can see in the status that there are 2 of these engines having the heartbeat. That's because these engines are running and active, and they're ready to process items. And what we have done is, if you click on this little heartbeat icon, it will actually take you to an engine statistics page, and you will see, depending on the engine, you will see different graphs. So in this case, for the process engine statistics, you can see the process execution time. This is telling you that right now, in this case on 8/13, um, you know, we have this engine has processed the execution time. The highest level execution time is 200 milliseconds. The median is about 100, and the number of items are displayed in the next graph. So this has processed this number of items. So in my case, 2 items have been processed by the engine, and we track this data for the last 24 hours. We also clean up this data, so we only have for the last 24 hours. If you want to go and look at these are available right from the UI, this data. But we have also given you an API to access this. We have a couple of different options here. You can go back to your services, you can look at the engine log, and you can also go into the API that is specific to this particular engine. If you go into the API, you'll see, you get a nice Swagger documentation on the API. So let's say if I say get info and let's execute this particular call, I'll get some data back, and basically this is some metadata that's brought back about the scheduling that is being used in the system for this particular engine. We have job triggers and job data, so we can see what jobs are scheduled to run by this particular engine. So here are the different jobs. We have process workflow job, we have auto reassign open task job, license check job, a few other jobs that are set up to automatically run. We can also get configuration data, what this engine is currently using as configuration. So if I execute this, you'll be able to see that it is using a service interval of 100, and no work max is set to a pretty large number here, 100,000. Number of workflow worker processes is set to 25. Then the type of engine service, which is process engine, the engine port it's using 5070. So you can see I'm using 5070 on the URL here. So we have a host of access to the engine through its own web API, and in the future versions we'll be extending this API to do more and more stuff. So you can get real-time feedback from this engine. You can also get things like uptime. You can see get uptime. So if I run this, you can see the engine's been up for 5 minutes and 25 seconds currently. We also have other info such as performance stats. You can get the performance numbers. This will give you by each hour, going back 24 hours, what the engine has done. If you go to the bottom, you'll see the latest info for the current hour. So you can see that number of process items, instances is 2, min, max, average, alert time, and all that info. We can also see some other info, things like resource stats. So if I run this, you can see what type of resources. Here's the machine, process ID, memory used by this process, CPU uptime, thread count, and all that. We also have things like get process data for scaling. If you are using Fluorite in a scalable environment and you want to use a process queue data to scale your number of instances that you want to run, then you can also use this API call to get the number of items to be processed by Fluorite engine. So based on this value, you can launch other scale sets or VMs or containers to be able to process items within Fluorite. So this is a quick overview of what we have done with each of the engines, and you can do this with every engine. If I go back to my, let's go to the ESP engine, or let's go to the email engine. Since my email engine is running, you can see the stats for that. You can also access the API that is specific to the email engine and get data from that. Okay. So hope you like this new feature of Fluorite 10, and hope you use this new feature in various different ways. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.